NASCAR Cup Series race officially concluded from Iowa Speedway, and William Byron picks up a second win in 2025 in a crash fest in a fuel mileage finish. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Cup Series race from Iowa Speedway, the Iowa Corn 350. We had quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. So let's just begin by talking about the race itself. Before all the cautions happened in this race today, in the middle portion of this race, there wasn't really much that happened. Chase Briscoe had a decent start to the race, and William Byron got a really good run and took the race lead early in the event. And once they got to lap traffic, you could not pass the leader in any way, shape, or form. And the guys were having a difficult time even getting by the drivers that the lap traffic. There is no reason that the lap cars should be able to hold off the leaders who clearly have fresher tires and cannot make the move to the inside and the outside. And that's why we saw some decent racing at points, because the lap traffic was holding everybody up and you could not pass the leader at that point. Eventually, though, William Byron made a pretty big mistake after leading the first 6-7 laps, and Brad Keselowski, who had a faster car, got the run and was able to take the race lead. He would come off the corner and win stage number 1. We get back going in stage number 2. Brad Keselowski had a pretty decent restart. I believe he cleared Ryan Blaney and William Byron, all those guys, and was able to actually Chase Briscoe got a pretty good restart. He was able to take the race lead, and Chase Briscoe would dominate this portion of the event with Ryan Blaney being second, and Brad Keselowski, who didn't have the best pit stop, would drop back quite a bit. But during the green flag pit stops, we see a long sequence of green flag pit stops. People like Bubba Wallace, guys like Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, other good people in the field like Tyler Reddick would actually come down pit road. But an untimely caution would come out around lap 180 of the event when Shane Van Gisbergen would end up spinning out. Made a mistake going into the corner, just back in the outside wall, got a little bit of damage, just made a mistake right there, still learning the ovals at this point. He back in the outside wall, that would bring out the yellow and the caution. This would cause a lot of guys to be trapped a lap down at that point, including Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott. Guys like Alex Bowman got benefited from that, and Kyle Busch got benefited, and Denny Hamlin, who struggled early in the day, they got benefited from it as well. And then those guys would come down pit road with Ryan Blaney having the advantage, and he would be the race leader with Brad Keselowski up front as well. And then we saw some decent racing a little bit on the restart, but Brad Keselowski got a great run on Ryan Blaney and was able to clear for the lead. He pulled out to a pretty decent lead, and coming off the corner, Ryan Blaney would not get by Keselowski, as Brad Keselowski would come off the corner and win stage number 2. Then at this point, the wreck fest would start beginning, and a lot of crashes would end up taking place. First, on lap 204, Ty Dillon ends up crashing. Then we see another restart with Keselowski having the lead. Oh, guess what? 2 laps later, another caution takes place with Carson Osbar spinning in turn number 2. And then we get back going once again. After 10 lap yellow, we have another caution as Denny Hamlin spins out from 18th position. Then we get another restart, and Keselowski gets the lead. Oh, never mind. Another lap later, Carson Osbar gets into Zane Smith and spins him out. Then we go back racing with Ryan Blaney having the lead, and we have a couple laps of green flag, and guess what? Another caution comes out for Eric Jones, who spins out. So we get more yellows happening at this point. We go back racing for a few laps, and then Christopher Bell and Tyler Reddick get turned by Chase Briscoe in turn number 1, and another caution comes out in this event. And then we go back racing once again. Guess what? Kyle Busch gets into Shane Van Gisbergen and spins him out. We get another yellow at that point. Then we go back racing once again. Guess what? Another caution takes place on 271. We go back racing in 277. Guess what? Another caution comes out, the final yellow of the day, for debris off of a race car. And then we saw Chase Elliott and Josh Berry, who were up front, have to come down pit road. On the restart, William Byron gets a good restart from the outside and takes the race lead and starts taking off, with Chase Briscoe going up to second position. The big question was going to be, would William Byron have enough gas to make it to the checker flag and hang on to the race lead? We all know how difficult it is to pass in this car, so it was going to be very difficult to make the pass. We had Brad Keselowski also charging his way up as well on the fresher tires and was running these guys down. He got to Chase Briscoe with around 15 laps to go, and he could not get by him and pass him. Keselowski stayed right behind him, and William Byron was able to save fuel and continue saving for the lead. And Ryan Blaney also gained a ton of ground as well and had an opportunity to get by them, and William Byron would have enough gas to make it to the checkered flag, hold off the hard charging field, and would come off the final corner and pick up his second win of 2025 and his 15th career NASCAR Cup Series win. How William Byron saved all that fuel, I don't really know, to be honest, considering William Byron didn't pit for 145 laps. Yes, there were a lot of cautions that happened to really help William Byron, but good for William Byron, in all honesty. This 24 team has had a lot of speed this year, and I picked them as a suck pick coming this weekend because I just didn't really trust the 24 team because they've had a lot of speed, but they haven't really executed properly. So good for William Byron to pick up the win and victory. Good to see that car back in victory lane. The 24 teams, again, had some good speed this year. They've been close to winning a few races. We've been wanting to see Byron get that second win. He does get that second win. Congrats to William Byron on picking up the win and victory. So now we'll go ahead and take a look at the race results. So I'm going to give my score and thoughts on today's race because trust me, I've got a lot to say about this race. So William Byron picks up the win. Chase Briscoe finished second. Briscoe had a really, really good run today. Ran top 5 and top 10. Led a ton of laps today as well. That's another top 5 finisher, Briscoe. This 19 team's been clicking with a lot of really good finishes. I like the speed that they've got right now. A really good day for him. He finishes second. Fantastic run for Chase Briscoe there. Brad Keselowski finishes third. What a fantastic day for Brad Keselowski. Brad had a really, really good car today. I think he actually had the fastest car in the field. This 6 team has had 7 top 10 finishes, I think, in the last 8 or 9 races. They had a really good car, not enough to get up there and challenge for the win today, but Keselowski showed some good pace and speed. They're building a lot of momentum and confidence. I feel bad for Brad. He probably should have won this race, but a great run for Brad. He finishes third. Ryan Blaney finished fourth. He had a really fast car, led laps early in the race, not enough to get up there to challenge for the win. He did have a really good car, though. Good bounce back run for him. He finishes fifth. Ryan Preece finished fifth. They struggled early. They were terrible early in this race, but they got benefited from that caution from Shane Van Gisbergen, and they maintained a top 5 and top 10 run pretty much at that point. A solid comeback day for Ryan Preece, another top 5 finish. He finishes fifth. Bubba Wallace finished sixth. I want to talk about Bubba for a second. He got involved in one of the incidents. He hit the outside wall, had a broken toe link, went 2 laps down. On the final restart, he was restarting like 30 or 31st. He charged all the way back up to 6th position and was catching the leaders really, really quickly. An impressive finisher, Bubba Wallace, today, building a lot of momentum after getting the win last week at the Brickyard 400. A solid day for Bubba, all things considered. No, they had a bad start to the day, but they come home with a really strong finish. An impressive charge for Bubba to score a top 10. Alex Bowman finished 7th. They ran top 10 quite a bit of this race. Played the strategy as well. Get home with a solid top 10 finish. Another good day for Bowman. Another top 10 run as well. Solid day for Bowman in 7th. Carson Hocevar finished 8th. He got involved in a couple incidents throughout the day, but he recovered to finish in the top 10. Hocevar had some pretty good speed early in the day and recovers to finish outside the top 10 in 8th. Solid run for him. Joe Logano finished 9th. They struggled early in this race, but they made that car a little better and comes home with a solid top 10 finish in 9th. Not a bad day for him. And Austin Dillon finished 10th. I want to give him a shout out because this is his best run I think he's had all year. He ran top 10 pretty much all day long, was actually in position at one point to contend for the victory in this race because of the strategies, but he comes home with a really solid top 10 in 10th place. Not a bad day for him. Rosh Hussein finished 11th, got benefited from that caution. He was terrible early in the race, but they made that car a little better and gets a top 15. Not a bad day for him. Austin Cindric finished 12th. They played some strategy. Were up front early, had a really fast car early, but lost some track position at points, thus finishing the top 15. Josh Berry finished 13th, had a really good charge at the end of this race as well because he had to pit with Chase Elliott and all those guys and recovered to finish in the top 15. Not a terrible day for Josh Berry. Chase Elliott finished 14th. Elliott didn't have the best car today. He had a top 10 car, but they really got stuck in a dirty air and had a lot of beef with Kyle Larson in this race. Same with Christopher Bell and those guys who kept getting in the Kyle Larson throughout the day. A disappointing finish for Chase after what looked like was going to be a great finish. He finished 14th, and John Nemechek finishes in 15th. Decent day for him. Eric Jones finished 16th. He got involved in a couple incidents throughout the day. Recovers, finished inside the top 20. Christopher Bell finished 17th. Got involved in a couple wrecks today as well. Finishes inside the top 20 and 17th. AJ Allmendinger finished 18th. Started up front early, but unfortunately screwed over by that caution for SVG to not get a great finish. Tyler Reddick finished 19th. They struggled majority of the day. That car was completely terrible, had no pace and speed. He finishes in the back of there. And Kyle Busch finished 20th. He had to start at the rear of the field, was up inside the top 10, but they just never had the handling on that car like they had for his teammate Austin Dillon. He does get a top 20, so another consistent top 20 run, all things considered, but not a great finish nonetheless for Kyle. He finished 20th. Ty Gibbs finished 21st. Chris Buescher finished 22nd. He struggled all day long. A terrible run for Buescher into 17. Justin Haley finished 23rd. Denny Hamlin, who had an horrendous day today for his standards, he finished 24th. Daniel Suarez finished 25th. Still looking for a ride going into next year. Cole Custer finished 26th. Michael McDowell finishing 27th. Kyle Larson finished 28th. He had a lot better car than where he finished. He got used up a lot in this race today. He had a top 5 car early in the race, so I don't think that finish indicated how good that car was. It was just so difficult to pass. Once you got stuck in the dirty air, it was so tough to pass in this race like we've seen at other tracks today. A disappointing finish after qualifying well, showing some top 5 and top 10 speed. Doesn't get the finish that I think he deserved. He finished in 28th. Noah Gragson finished 29th. Riley Hurts finished 30th. Sheeman Gisbergen finished 31st. Had a decent qualifying run, but spun out a couple times throughout the day. Got turned by Kyle Busch at one point as well. A disappointing ending to what was a decent start to the day, but nothing to show for. He finished 31st. Cody Ware finished 32nd. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who struggled all day long, finished in 33rd. Todd Gillen finished 34th. Ty Dillon finished in 35th. He had a couple incidents throughout the day. Zane Smith finished 36th. Was in the top 20 of points, but that car just, after getting all the damage, just never really recovered. Finished there, and Joey Gase finished last in 37th, so everyone finished the race today. So now, let's talk about the overall race as a whole. I give my score and thoughts on today's race. I'm going to be real and honest. I really did not enjoy this race today. And good for William Byron to pick up the win. He absolutely earned and deserved the victory. But this whole race today just was not that good in my opinion. From the beginning of the event, where you had a lot of being difficult to pass. It was so tough and so difficult to pass throughout the day. Guys that were clearly faster, that absolutely should have been able to make passes, like Brad Keselowski early in the event, who couldn't get by William Byron for 40 laps in the race. That is really frustrating. And I know that's somewhat of a track issue because they only repaved part of the track because it was difficult at times to pass an Xfinity Series car. But the difference is you could eventually pass in the Xfinity Series car if you had a faster car. You could not do that really to the end of the race because the people were saving gas at the end of the event. And then we get to the caution fest. And good Lord, this kind of drove me crazy. The amount of yellows we had in the middle of the race is just unacceptable. We were reaching levels like Martinsville in 2025 in the Xfinity Series where you had so many cautions. Because in the first 120 laps, we only have 1 or 2 cautions. After that, or first 180 laps, I should say, we only have 1 caution. We had 9 or 10 cautions in about a 110 lap stretch. That's unacceptable. The driver should know better. And I get that the car really plays a factor in that, but it's just unacceptable and ridiculous that we had all that happening throughout the day. And it's uncalled for how many people were wrecking. We had so many stupid wrecks that didn't need to happen in the race today, and it made this race not that fun to watch for me because you had a car that just doesn't work that well. We have got to get this car better at the short tracks because I thought last year's race was way better than this. The Xfinity race was way better than this race, and I get we had an interesting fuel mileage finish, so I'll give it that a little bit, but the next-gen car makes people be able to save a lot easier. Look how Chase Briscoe did. He had 2 tires. Hamlin and those guys behind him were quicker at Pocono, and we're not able to pass him. We have got to get this car better at these racetracks because it's just making these races not fun to watch at times, and I get frustrated because I want to see the racing get good. I want to see good racing at these short tracks. I miss when short track racing was really, really fun to watch. And today just was not a good race. It was not fun. It sucked. It wasn't good. My score of today's race is going to be very, very low. It's going to be one of the worst scores I've had all year. I'm giving this race like a 4 out of 10. And I'll be honest, I'm being pretty generous with this race because I just did not enjoy it. It wasn't fun. Yeah, a lot of things I didn't really like about it. My score of today's race is going to be a 4 out of 10. And that's what's going to be the score for today's event. So, that is going to be it for the NASCAR Cup Series race review from Iowa Speedway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go over that and comment your thoughts below on today's race. Your thoughts on today's race, let me know below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and congratulate William Byron on picking up the win. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to have a NASCAR news video discussing news over the course of the last couple days. We're going to talk about some silly scene stuff around Connor Zilisch and Corey Day. We're also going to talk about people like Haley Deegan, Shaman Gisbergen, Carl Hurts, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bo Wallace, Ross Chastain, Clay Zafar, Dodge, Ram, Frankie Muniz, Ryan Sieg, you name it. We'll talk about Austin Hill a little bit, Eric Almirola, and maybe Connor running a truck race as well. We'll talk about that along with Will Brown driving for Colleague Racing, maybe Brock Feeney, Cam Waters, and all that stuff. We're going to have the Watkins Glen entrance dropping on Tuesday. I'm more excited for that race than what we saw today, and we'll be going to Watkins Glen, which should be really fun and really exciting. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode. I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.